Alright, our second example here, we're going to have mirroring. We're going to reflect. So, in this case, two things could happen. We can either have a vertical flip, or we have here's y equals x squared. We could flip it over vertically, so it gets flipped upside down. Or we could have something, for instance, like if we had, let's say we were shifted over here, then if we had a negative in the horizontal, we could flip sideways. Two different ways we can do this. If we're reflected in the x-axis, we'll have a negative out front. This is a vertical flip-flop, so we're flipping over the x-axis. We're mirroring on the x. And if we have the negative inside, then we're going to be reflecting in the y-axis. This is those even functions where we have something like that. We'll mirror it on the other side of the y-axis. So let's take a look at a couple of examples here. The graph of x to the fourth is shown, and we're going to want to find an equation for each of these two functions. So for a, what's happened is we've been moved up 2, and then we have a vertical, we'll call it a flip. So in this situation, how do we write g of x on this one? Well, let's start with our x to the fourth. And we got shifted up 2. How do we write up 2 in parentheses or outside of parentheses? We want to do it outside of the parentheses, like that. We're going to get shifted up 2, and we're going to be flipped over, so we're going to have a negative x to the fourth, and that is going to be outside the parentheses. Okay? Alright, similar situation going on in B, except for instead of being shifted up, we got shifted to the right, and then we got flipped over. So how do we write this equation? H of x equals, start with our x to the fourth. We know it's flipped over, so we can say negative. And on this case, we want our shift to be inside the parentheses. So we have to say, let me rewrite this down here, negative x, and we're going to the right, minus 3 to the fourth. Let's go ahead and try 15. Now pause me, press play when you're ready. Alright, use the graph of f of x equals x squared to write an equation for each function of the graph that is shown. First graph is simply shifted down by 1, so we're going to have f of x is equal to x squared minus 1. On problem B, we're going to be flipped over, so we're going to have negative. We are shifted left 1, and we are shifted up 1. 3 things going on problem B. There are also 3 things going on problem C. We're flipped over, so we have a negative. We are shifted to the right by 2, so x minus 2 inside the parentheses. We're shifted up 6. And last one, no negative because we're not being flipped, but we are being shifted horizontally. Right here looks like 5 to me, so we'll call it x minus 5 squared, and if each of these counts as 2, looks like we're down 3.